Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
Why, hello there, Miss Krista.
Hi, how you doing?
I've missed you.
I know. I'm back.
It's nice to have you here today.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. I love this topic.
Me too. It's one of my favorites. Um, those of you joining us, welcome to Moment of Presence. I am Michelle with Moksha Grace Coaching, and today I am joined by Krista Barone from Wicked Wisdom Consulting and many other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of
Many
things.
other adventures. Also, if you can't tell, there's some resemblance here.
Yeah, a little bit,
Just a little.
a little bit. Uh, and basically, what I do with Moksha Grace Coaching is I coach people that are ready to make some changes in their life. They're tired of struggling. They're tired of resisting change. They're tired of being upset or angry all the time. And they're ready to manage their emotions better or take control of their emotions. And I call that emotional liberation because when you learn how to do that, uh, you find your peace and you can keep your peace easier than just kind of being like that plastic bag that's throwing, blowing around in the wind and letting your emotions have control over you and your life. So that is what I do. Uh, Krista, what would you say you do?
Well, I've been referred to as the Wizard of Ops. I've been told that I do operations excellence. I am a jack of all trades.
Yeah, you make things flow. So today's discussion, and I love what we put together. The rain, go away, come back another day. There's those of us that live in areas where we need rain. And then there's others that live in a place where they've got so much rain. And where we are in Florida, that can fluctuate
By the
during,
hour.
yeah, by the hour. One minute we don't have enough, and another minute we have too much and we're flooded. Um, but people seem to always be complaining about rain, and rain ruined your day. Rain can turn ground, which we talked about last week in our elemental series here. We talked about ground last week, and rain can turn ground into mud. And then now we're just walking around with muddy shoes, and it makes things just slippery and
And on the other hand, people complain that there's not enough rain, and then things dry out, and they're not nourished, and they're not flowing and growing.
yes, which may what did April showers bring? May flowers. So rain gets a bad rap a lot of the times. And what if, like us, so often when people say things about us, what if rain decided one day like it didn't want to be rain anymore? Like I want to be sunshine. Like sunshine's cool. Sunshine, like everybody, gets excited about the sun shining and they want to go spend the day outside in the warmth and everyone's happy about sunshine. I want to be sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
And what if rain just up and decided to not be rain anymore? Where
Yeah.
would we be? So that was me kind of being a bit silly, but I think the point, I hope, is well taken, that you are who you are. You do what you do. Um, Good, bad, indifferent. There is no bad, really. Uh, I don't believe that. And, you have to honor who you are. And with that comes radical self acceptance and understanding your worth. Rain is very worthy. So is sunshine. We
Mm-hmm.
cannot have a earth without all of the elements working together, which is so important. Um,
You know what else
So,
I love about this conversation is, as we were just talking about earlier, right now um, is Venus retrograde as
mhm,
far as astrology goes. And one of the things that's happening right now, as far as the energy, is that old patterns, old triggers, old experiences are coming up again for people to reprocess. And part of that is also very much including love in the sense of self love, self confidence.
mhm.
And so I just think it's so funny that our schedule, I don't think you planned this, but the schedule for these
Oh,
topics, oh, okay. Well, the schedule for this topic falls right in line with that because a common theme for a lot of people right now is dealing with self confidence, stuff coming back up, and all of that. So it's a big time of triggers for people right now.
yeah, and what I have found interesting is there's been a lot of the same. It's not even like it's like a just a circumstance or um, a type of trigger. It's like the we're give it feels like we're being given the exact same choices.
Yeah.
And not that we made a bad choice the first time. We went down one path when we made the choice the last time, and it seems like now with this time,
Hmm.
with the same chance in front of our same choice in front of us,
Hmm.
if we take a different path, we're going to learn different lessons. And that's what I'm like, I feel like I've been here before, but instead
Yeah.
of going this way, what's going to happen if I go that way?
Hmm.
And so it feels really, I don't know, I'm kind of curious about it. Like it's kind of fun, I think.
I
Um
swear, another great example. If you've been tuning in for a while, you know that you've got a golden retriever and a cat going on here. Where you are the golden retriever and I am the cat. We have very wildly different personalities. And you're
yeah,
like,
there
ooh,
it
I'm
is.
so excited and curious. And I'm like, oh, Lord, what is going to happen? Yeah.
Well, so when you think of water, what do you think as far as elemental? When you think of water, what do you think of?
I think of cleansing. I think of
Hmm.
flow. I think of hydration, nourishment, health. Um, I mean, I could keep going, but like the ocean, lakes, rivers, earth, it even makes me think of other planets who don't have water that we know of. I mean, I could go on
Yeah.
forever, but I think for me, the biggest thing that water represents for me is cleansing.
Hmm.
I'm equal parts air and water as far as astrology goes. So for me, water is just as cleansing as air. So it's a big one for me.
Yeah. Uh, we're going to be talking about mine next week, which is fire, and I'm pretty sure like I'm all fire in my chart.
You're primarily, I can pull it up. I'll have it ready
Yeah.
for next week, but you're pretty significantly fire.
Yeah, yeah, you're definitely gonna be on next week. So when I think of water, I think like you said, flow. And when I picture flow, I picture going downstream, and Abraham Hicks talks about that all the time. And if you've ever tried to swim upstream,
Oof.
or against the flow of water,
Or
it's
gone
really
paddleboarding
right.
against the flow of
Right,
water.
exactly. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about this morning, I was even thinking about riptides. And
Mhm.
it's a perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. When you're stuck in a riptide, most people want to fight and oh my gosh, I got to get back to land. I've got to get to the shore. And honestly, the safest thing, the best thing to do is to actually relax
Mhm.
and allow the water to take you, because what happens is the water flows and then it releases you from the rip the rip that has been created, the
Current.
riptide, yeah, in the current that's been created, and then it delivers you to safety, and then you can swim to shore.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, safety. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I
Uh,
mean, it is the middle of the ocean, but
Right. I mean, well, it doesn't have to be the middle of the ocean. It could just be farther down than you wanted to go, and now you have to walk all the way back. But it does release you. The other thing about water, yes, it refreshes, relieves you, cleanses. How many times you stand in the shower and you're just like, oh, let this negative energy just come
Yeah.
off of me.
Yeah. How
Um,
many times do people say, "Oh, I'm gonna go wash off the day."
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you visualize that, and it's a great way to layer in your meditation for those of you who are always saying, "I don't have time to meditate." This is a perfect way to do a meditation, is
Yeah.
just to stand in your shower and literally let the day wash through you and out, and just right out your feet, and imagine it going right out the drain, just
Mhm.
down the drain. Um, but the other thing that's so interesting about water is it's also adaptable.
Mm.
You pour water into anything, a glass, a vase, whatever it is, it's going to take the shape of whatever you're pouring it into.
Mm.
So it's very adaptable, and it reshapes itself,
Mm.
without losing what it really is.
Mm.
You put it into a heart-shaped glass or a square, and it doesn't stop being water, nor does it stop being part of the ocean and all the other water that's on the earth. So I think it's so important for people to remember that we are exactly the same way. We are adaptable, we can move, we can reshape ourselves, but we just aren't going to lose our essence. And we have to make sure that we don't lose our essence. Always be authentically you, just like water is going to authentically be water.
Yeah.
And water cannot be sunshine. Sorry, rain. It can want to be, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be.
Well, and let's remember that the combination of those two is what creates rainbows. It's what creates
Exactly.
beauty and light and just, yeah. You can't have one without the other.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get steam, which is also a way of releasing, right? There's a lot of different things that when you mix the different elements that you can pull from, even energetically, so that you're getting what you need for yourself for the day. There's times where I'll be having a really bad day, and then, of course, like it's raining, and you're like, on top of that. And then I'll like go out and be a kid, and I'll go run in the rain. How do you not have fun when you run through the rain?
Yeah.
Like, you're a little kid again, or go jump in a puddle and
Mhm.
just it's a puddle. A puddle is going to be a puddle. It can't be anything but a puddle. And you can't get mad at the puddle being a puddle,
True.
because that's what happens. And so this is all about teaching us about emotional intelligence. It's teaching us about surrendering.
Mhm.
And I don't mean surrender like white flag, I give up. I'm talking about releasing and surrendering it over to the divine, to the
Yeah.
process, to the flow of whatever it is.
It's also about not trying to be what you're not and not changing who and what you are because you feel like you need to or because you feel like you have to. Because I don't know about you, but anytime I try to change what my natural demeanor, my natural personality, my natural thought process, it just like causes disarray. It causes chaos. And then I come back to who I really am and everything levels itself out.
Mhm.
And I'm not talking about like not like you shouldn't, it's not that you shouldn't work on yourself or things like that. That's not what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
I'm talking about just like those natural ways that we think and behave and are that we might try to shift and put ourselves in a box that we don't need to.
Right. Because when we're suppressing ourselves and our emotions, or how we're feeling, or what it is we really want to do, or what's bothering us, I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm angry. I'm just going to shove it down and keep it in a little box. It's
Yeah.
going to cause dis-ease for us.
Yeah.
Whereas if we release it, it may be a little painful in the moment to be angry,
Yeah.
and let it out, but then it's done. You've let it out. You've released it. And so learning how to embrace that, and move forward actually allows you more clarity and more peace
Mm-hmm.
because it's not weighing you down
Yeah.
and you're not trying to force it. You're going with the flow.
Yeah.
Um, you know, do you remember watching oh gosh, Finding Nemo?
Do I remember watching Finding Nemo? Yeah, I think I remember a little bit. It's only one of my favorite Disney movies.
And what happens when Crush, right? Is that not the perfect
Yeah.
mental picture, mental video
Mhm.
of being in flow?
Yeah.
You know, Crush or even Dory or Nemo's dad, I can't remember his name. They
Marlin.
could have not jumped into the flow and they were really having to use all of their energy to get where they were going, but then the turtles and,
Mhm.
yeah, turtles, uh, the
Crush and Squirt.
sea turtle, they jumped in the flow and the flow took them
Right where they need to go.
exactly where they needed to go. And what did they need in order to do that?
I don't know where you're going with that.
Trust and faith.
What?
Trust and faith.
Yeah, they needed to trust in faith.
You've got to trust that it's just going to take you where you need to go,
Hmm.
right? And have faith in that it's just the flow. It's just the flow of things.
Hmm.
And so in our daily routines, in our day when things seem to be blocking our flow, just like a rock can be in a river and block the flow, what does water do? Flows around the rock. So, what can we do to make sure that we have a better day? Kind of flow around it and just kind of like go with the flow. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to love the situation. If somebody pulls out in front of you and blocks you, or they're going too slow and you're driving and you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
they're blocking your flow. But what can you do in that situation? You can take a deep breath. You can realize that maybe you were going too fast. You can realize that maybe it was the universe saying, hey, you're not supposed to be, arriving at that specific time. There's a purpose for this delay.
Hmm.
But again, you have to have that trust and you have to have that faith.
Hmm.
And that's why I love bringing the elements into, doing emotional mastery work
Yeah.
and really understanding how to respond to situations. We can look to the elements, we can look to earth and go, well, how does a flower react to it raining? Well,
Hmm.
sometimes the flowers close up a little bit. Sometimes they open up wider.
Hmm.
What's right for you? There's really no right or wrong. It's what is best for you. So, right now, why don't we take a couple deep breaths? If you're here, I want to know you're here, but don't do it right this minute. But when we're done, type in the chat that you're here and how you get yourself in flow or how you know you're in flow, which is what I want to talk about. But let's take a deep breath together. We're going to hold it up at the top and imagine being on a lazy river, floating in an inner tube. Just exhale and take another deep breath in. Just imagine just letting go, not even holding on to the edge of anything, just letting the float, the water just take you, relax you. Just exhale. And one more deep breath in. And relax. So, how does one know when you're in flow versus not in flow? Does your body give you any signals that you know? It's like a big ding, 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 ding. What happens to you?
That. Yeah. You're asking. Oh yeah. Yeah. my body definitely lets me know. Honestly, for me, it's easier to know, I think, when I'm not in flow sometimes, because when I'm not in flow, like even my breathing becomes restricted, my
Mm.
anxiety goes up, and then just like in general, it literally like life just feels like trying to swim against the flow of like a river or the ocean, versus when I'm in flow, things just sort of feel easier. It's easy to breathe. It's easy to just live life. I look up and I see an angel number or a repeating number, whatever you want to call them. Um, Things just naturally work out. And it's interesting because I know we talked about it before, but sometimes flow and being in flow doesn't have to mean that everything feels really good either, because sometimes being in flow means that you kind of get dragged quickly over the rocks for a second, but you're still going downstream.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that maybe doesn't get talked about enough, is that, oh, I'm in flow. People tend to think that that means that just everything's like, oh, it feels so good. And sometimes, you have a moment.
It's so funny because we're like in flow because that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. Because the last couple days I've been like, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm not in a like chipper, like, typical cheery Michelle,
Hmm.
but I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm seeing the angel numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'm in flow.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, flow is not, we can't walk around being that's toxic positivity. You can't just walk around faking it and being like, oh, I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy and excited, like all the time. I'm just so like a golden retriever.
Like your car just broke down and you're still like, nope, everything is just great. It's awesome. I'm having a great day. Like,
Everything is fine. I'm fine.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting. I have like literally last week, I had put something out into the universe, and I just realized this like the other day. I had put something out into the universe, and then it has come to pass, but in a way that really did not feel good for a few days.
Mm.
And yet I also can acknowledge that I asked for it. So, and I got it really quickly. So I was in flow and I am in flow,
Mm-hmm.
but it came after a real shitty couple of days.
Yeah. And even coming down from that, you have to give yourself some time and some grace to kind
Yeah.
of let everything settle
Yep.
and be like, okay, I just
Mm-hmm.
got dragged around that really sharp rock.
Yeah.
All right, cool. The
Yep.
water's going to help, cleanse it
Mm-hmm.
and I can release it.
Mm-hmm.
But that release, even when you
Yeah.
finally just go, you know what? I'm not even going to fight this anymore. I am not going to resist it. Like whatever is meant to be,
Mm-hmm.
whatever is meant to be is what's going to be. And I'm fine. I trust, I have faith. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to end up exactly in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And that when you can finally surrender that, and you've read that book and you got me to read the book, um, it's freeing
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have to be in control all the time.
Yeah.
We actually shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't be. The only thing we can control is our response to the things that happen
Mm-hmm.
outside of us.
Yeah.
But the only thing we can control is actually what's inside of us.
Right.
And so that means we're made up of how much water? I don't know exactly. I think it's like 99%.
No, I think it's 72 or 76%. I can look it up really quick. Yeah, I think it's only 70.
Being in that flow means not resisting who you are, not resisting your emotions. If you're mad, go scream in a pillow, go pound on your shaman drum like I do. I karaoke. I have my microphones right here.
I think this is the Mandela effect, because this is saying 60% water. I know for a fact growing up, I was taught it was 70 something.
I always thought it was even more than that, but
We're both right, because it looks like the breakdown is like 83% of blood is water, 83% of the kidneys is water, 85% of the liver is water, and then like the bones is only 22% water. So it's kind of a range, but
yeah.
we're a lot of water, basically.
Yeah. So the point is that if you allow the emotions, if you allow how you're feeling
Mm-hmm.
to flow through you
Mm-hmm.
and out, and you're not resisting and holding it in, putting a block in the way or a
Yeah.
brick or a rock,
Or a dam.
then
Water.
or a dam, right? Damming yourself in, then you're allowing the natural flow of good to also come in, because this is all about energy as
Yeah.
well. And think about it, water can flow really, really fast. It can flow really, really slow. If it's dammed, if there's a dam built or something in its way, and it can't flow, what happens? Pressure builds up.
Yep.
And then what happens?
You have a geyser. Geyser.
A geyser, a geyser, a geyser.
I'm not sure. There's one pronunciation that's like old men, and then there's one that's
That would be a geyser. We're talking a geyser.
geyser.
But it right? It explodes. And so you don't want that. So you have to allow yourself, that freeing feeling. That's how you're going to heal, is by allowing that flow of energy and being like water.
Yeah.
There's an amazing meditation on Insight Timer that's be like water, and I believe Bruce Lee actually said that. He has a whole quote about that. But checking in with your emotions, this is like my little bit of homework. Check in with your emotions. Where are you with your emotions? How you're feeling right now, and ask or feel it without judgment, because that's the whole thing, is that we're not supposed to be judging how we feel. How we feel is how we feel. Rain is rain, sun is sun.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel is how you feel. And that's part of then being adaptable and flowing with it until you flow into what it is that you want to be feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But restricting yourself is going to build up that pressure, and there's going to be that explosion, and that's what you don't want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if we're not resisting, but what do most people resist?
Change.
Change. So if you're not resisting change, there's going to be a really big change with the Barone family this weekend. And it's a good change. It's a wonderful change, but it's still a change. And I wouldn't lie if I didn't say that there's a little bit of the feels in me about it. That's okay. That's okay. I'm good with that. I know that this is part of life. It's a good change,
Mm-hmm.
and it's growth, and it's just wonderful. Um, some ideas on how to help you when you're releasing, or how to get you to release. Like we talked about, take that shower, wash your hair, rinse the day away,
Mm-hmm.
let it go through. Imagine it just all going through the drain. Go for a swim if you're somewhere where the water's warm enough, which you would think, because we're in South Florida, it would be warm enough for me to go in the pool, but I will tell you, no, not yet. Uh, Drink some water with intention, and that's important. Put the intention in it, because where's the water going? It's going inside. It's blending with the water that's already in you. Make some sun water.
Hold
So
on, real quick. That is actually a scientifically proven thing that happens, is when you speak positivity to water, to liquid, it actually literally changes the shape of the water molecules. And when you freeze it, you can see like the shape of the icicles forming is even different. Like that's not something that's like hooey, what, like that is verifiable science. That is something that is real. Same thing with when you speak positivity to plants that are growing.
Mhm.
They will be more successful if you speak to it with love and admiration, do the same thing for yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. And I was going to talk about the blue glass. So if you ever seen the blue glass, and it's a like a blue, you can get it like a blue jar with a top on it. You put your water in it and you leave it out in the sun for a few hours, and now it gets charged by the sun. And then as you drink it, it's like drinking pure sunshine, and there's this positive energy in it. You could do the same thing with moon and make moon water, and there is a charged energy to it. And it's the moon water for me is very healing. The sun water to me is very
Energizing.
yeah, energizing and inspiring. Like it just like motivates. So there's some ideas. You could take a bath. All of those wonderful things. Go run in the sprinklers if you have them. Have some fun with it, but just remember to be like water and flow, and don't go upstream. You want to go downstream the easy way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you feel like you're going against the grain, against the flow, ask yourself why.
Yeah.
And what is it that you're supposed to be learning from this situation, or why are you resisting the situation? That's all. Just ask yourself a question, because guess what? You're going to hear an answer if you listen. So open up your ears. You got anything else?
No, I think you covered it all. That was a perfect ending.
All
Open
right.
your ears.
So open your ears, your internal ears. So next week, we're talking about fire. And it is my birthday, actually.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
so
Is
I
it actually your birthday on the day? It
yes.
is. Wow.
I
Okay.
specifically moved because normally I would talk about fire right after last week's conversation. Fire would be before water, but I was like,
Mhm.
oh, it's too good. I got to switch it up. So fire is next week. We are going to be talking about fire, the element of fire, and what that means for you, your body, your life, your intentions, what it means to not have enough fire in your life, what it means to have too much fire in your life. So we're going to talk about all of that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Krista will tell you all of my fiery stories, I'm sure. Maybe she'll share a couple funny ones. But anyway, Rit, thank you for being here. Number one, if you know someone that needs to hear this information, that could use a little bit of some talking points from here from this conversation.
I thought
Um,
you were going to say that needs a talking to.
I was going to, and then I pulled back. Needs a talking to. That needs to flow like water more often. Send them, share it out. Send them the video. For goodness sake, they're all on YouTube as well. You can join me for group coaching on Thursday nights with the Odonata community. We have group coaching. It's a very easy way to test out coaching for a month, see how you like it. It's a group coaching call. So, it's not just one on one. You don't have to be scared. I'm not like a big bad wolf. But coaching is just a way to help you get some things out of your mind and work through some things. I love coaching. I love what I get to do. I love when I see people's faces like get it, like things click into place. And I'm like, oh my God, how did I not see that? So it's just so much fun. And then you can always book a call with me, and we can discuss about, what working one-on-one would look like. I appreciate all of you for being here. Krista, thanks for jumping in and being here. I love when you're here with me. It's always fun, and I know that we're going to have a lot of fun next week. We may even have party hats on. I don't know. But every day can be a good day or a bad day. It is all up to you. So choose wisely and go with the flow.
Yes.
See you
Bye.
next time.